Welcome to the Live Wide Open podcast. I'm your host, Randy B. Ramirez, also known as Wide Open Randy, and I'm here to lead you to become the best version of yourself. This show helps raise the bar for all the motorsport enthusiasts, those who want more out of life, those who want to do more, those who want to be more, those who love the thrill, the joy, and the connection of what these high performance engines bring into our lives. Because holding it wide open is just what we do. Being a great fucking person is who we are, and living our lives to the fullest is the lifestyle that we choose. Man, today we're going to be talking about the power of checklists and how using them on your build helps pave the road for you to finish your project car. Because the truth is that there are a lot of fucking things that you got to do in order to get your ride off the fucking jack stands and ready to hit the road. And if you aren't systematically approaching this shit, you could easily find yourself overwhelmed and missing the important pieces that will eventually delay you from finishing and enjoying your ride. I know it's because I've been through. The subject for today's episode is actually like it came to mind as I was preparing my own checklist. Like I set a goal for myself to have my Turbo Camaro running by Thanksgiving weekend. That's a little over 7 weeks from now. And 7 weeks might seem like a long time if you have all day, every day to work on your car. But when the time is limited and you already have a lot on your fucking plate, 7 weeks will fly by you, man, in the blink of an eye. And if you don't strategize correctly, there could be a good chance you're going to miss that deadline. There's going to be a good chance that I miss that deadline if I don't strategize, right? Because there's a fucking shit ton that I have to do. There really is. And to be quite honest, that fucking deadline is tight as fuck. But gotta do what we gotta do, right? If you didn't know, what I ended up doing is I purchased a parts car several weeks back, right? And so aside from building my car, I have to take apart an entire other car so that I can transfer a lot of the main components over and get my car running. So I'm fucking working on two cars with a deadline of less than 7 weeks. About 7 weeks, maybe a little more, I don't know. It's fucking tough. It's crazy. But Wide Open Randy. That's what fucking I'm all about. All gas, no brakes, right? It's crazy how this all turned out though. Like I wasn't even in my plan to buy this car. But God works in mysterious ways, man. And for all you believers out there, know that He always provides you with the tools that you need to make things happen. It may not be on your time, but He always comes through on His time, right? Like this parts car that I bought, we're calling it Goodwill. And that's her name because when I'm all done with her, she'll be pretty much a rolling chassis. I'm literally gonna fucking grab everything I need from this car and Goodwill and donate it to my other car, right? Like ready for someone, and by the time I'm done, that other car, Goodwill, is going to be ready for someone else to take it on either as a foundation to build their car, or if it doesn't sell, then it is what it is. I got what I needed, and it's going straight to the junkyard because I really don't have the space for another car. I really don't. I don't even have it at my house. I have it at my friend's house. But whatever the case, the main purpose of buying that car was to grab everything that I needed and put it into my car and get my car running, right? It was that car that I bought, Goodwill, that we named her Goodwill. It was actually a good friend of mine's car, right? And I had sold him my old turbo kit, my old transmission, my old clutch, my old the fuel system, all the miscellaneous parts that I had from my turbo F body, and I sold it to his because he had bought an F body, and so that he could make his F body turbo because I had these fucking massive plans for my car, right? I had this fucking plan to build an all-out race car. I wanted something along the lines of 15 plus 100 horsepower stick shift machine. The problem was the fucking budget. I didn't realize that at first. I had these massive goals, and I still one day want to build. I will build fucking something like that. But at the stage of my life that I'm in right now, building $100,000 plus race car is just really not the smartest move for my family right now, right? So my Camaro has been sitting in my garage for a fucking while. I decided to do. I was actually doing the math the other day, and man, this December it would be 8 years since it fucking blew up. And I was like, fuck. And so several months back, I said, bro, fuck this shit. Like, I'm tired of looking at this car like this. I'm tired of seeing it in my garage park because I work out in my garage every, 4 days a week. And the other 3 days, I'm doing triathlon training. Um, and so I got tired of really seeing it there. And I just got tired of taking apart. And I'm like, bro, I said to myself, I was like, bro, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm gonna build this car the cheapest way that I can with as many parts that I have because I have a fucking crap load of parts on the shelf. And so my neighbor ended up having an aluminum 6.2 LS for sale. And I was like, I talked to them. He made me a deal, and I bought that. And I was like, bro, I'm gonna make that work. And I looked around and I was like, man, I still had my own nitrous kit, and like I still had a whole bunch of other parts. And with the nitrous kit, it would be decently fast. And so whatever, I had accepted in my mind that the car would be significantly slower than it used to be when it was turbo. But fuck it. And as a matter of fact, it would actually even be slower than my turbo Silverado that I daily drive. But whatever, bro, it didn't matter. What really mattered to me was just getting my Camaro back on the road, because I was like, bro, damn, B, if fucking 8-year mark hits and yet another year goes by and I still don't have this car running, and I just truly miss it, man. I had so much fun in that. I had so much memories with my wife. Just cool. You got the T-tops, you got all this stuff. It's just a fucking fun car. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get it running however I can, right? But little did I know, my buddy, who was also building his Camaro, the one that had sold all the parts to, he was building his turbo Camaro. He got tired of the build. He really did. He just, it got one thing led to another, and it just got held up, and then he just got tired of it. And then now he has a C7 C06, bad as fuck Corvette. He has a single cab supercharged F-150, bad as fuck. He has a turbo Monte Carlo. I've been helping him. I'm actually going there tonight to help him with that, get that running. Hopefully we go for a test drive on that tonight. And he has other toys. And so really building a turbo Camaro was kind of like, overkill for him at this moment. And he was like, bro, I got too much going on. Like, I'd rather see you fucking enjoy your car, get your shit back, get on the road, and let's fucking make it happen. And so when he heard about me bringing my Camaro back to life with whatever parts I had, and it was going to be all mortar with a nitrous kit, he was like, bro, like, no, don't do that shit, man. And so like he ended up reaching out. It was funny how, because I had posted on my story just of kind of like a summary of what happened with the build, because so many people ask about it. And then he had seen those videos, and that sparked the idea in him. And then he reached out. He was like, man, bro, look, to be honest, I just lost interest. Got too much shit going on, you know. Um, and I wanted to know if you would be interested in taking on the project. And I was like, fuck, man, like. And one thing led to another, and before I knew it, we already had a plan in place for me to get the car. But truth be told, like, once I saw how much things were going to cost to build the caliber of a car that I wanted to, 15 plus 100 horsepower stick shift machine, something that, and the problem is you got that much horsepower and stick shift, that shit breaks a lot of parts. So you got to fucking invest a lot of money to fucking buy quality parts. And then when I saw all that shit, I had already sold everything. I was like, bro, what did I get myself into? I regretted that I had sold my old setup. I was like, fuck, bro, I was so close. All I really needed was a motor. But it is what it is. But like I mentioned before, trust in God's plan. Like it may not be how you envision it, but he always looks out for those who have faith, right? And so now between the Goodwill Camaro, between my Camaro, and all the parts that I have on in the shelf in my garage, I have almost everything I need to assemble a running car, right? And then and that's when the checklist came to life. Right? I started to think about everything that I needed to do in my mind. Like, I was like, oh, I need to do this and do this. And I'm literally building kind of two cars, because I'm building one and I'm taking apart the other one at the same time to put piece one together, plus all the parts that I have. And so, man, I started to get overwhelmed with so much shit. I was like, man, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And then I got a timeline. And then, the other car's at my friend's house, and then I have my car here. And, I gotta do so many things. I started to get overwhelmed. And it wasn't long before I was like, you know what, bro? Fuck this shit. I pull out my notes tab on my iPhone. I live by this shit. And it wasn't long before I started writing everything down. Like, and I just did what I first did, I did a massive brain dump, everything, literally. Just started writing everything that came to mind in no particular order, everything that I needed to do. Like, everything. Things like, man, like for my car, I actually got this done this week, cutting the floor, for the torque arm clearance panel, which is, some people might be like, oh, that's going backwards. You shouldn't have cut out the floor. But that's something I've been wanting to do, finish, the last weld up on the roll cage, like installing the dash back in the car, cleaning up all the engine bay and getting ready for the new motor, things that I need to remove from the other car, the motor, the clutch, the transmission, the fuel pump assembly, the turbo kit. Man, I started writing everything down in a note, all the stuff, right? And like I said, the thing is that the orange car is at my house, and the parts car is at my friend's house. My friend lives about good, I'd say maybe 35 minutes away, easily with no traffic, right? And so I have to really be extra systematic about how I do things and in what order, right? I have to get my Camaro ready while I disassemble the other car at his house. Then, when the time is right, I can tow. We can get. Thankfully, he owns tow trucks, which is fucking very convenient. Always bails me out. Fucking bailed me out the other day when he was with me when my drive shaft broke. On my Silverado. That's another story for another day. But so when the time is right, he's gonna help me tow my Camaro to his house. So that we can then install all the components that I pulled out of the other car, the Goodwill Camaro, into the orange car, which is probably going to be, engine, clutch, and transmission, the main components. And then once that is done, I'm going to ask him to, please tow the car back to my house so that I can finish it at my house, because I can easily work on it at my house way easier than I can go work on it at his house. Like I big believer in 1 hour every day takes you a long time, a long way, right? So if I had the car here at my house, man, I could put in fucking an hour every night, right? And it's a lot of work. It really is. It's a lot of shitload of things that need to get done, things that need to fall in place in order for me to have a chance at meeting the Thanksgiving weekend deadline. But I love the challenge, man. I really do. Like, even though, like, think about it, like, even though it does add like this fucking huge stress factor to your life, I love deadlines because they make you get shit done. Like, we use them in construction all the time. I come from a construction management background, and fucking we live by deadlines. It's actually a deadline oriented business, right? Turning over projects. Um, and if you're late on a deadline, you have liquidated damages. You have to pay when you're fucking late. So typically you don't want to be late, right? But deadlines make shit happen, right? And if you're up for putting in the work, they hold you accountable for hitting your goals. And you know what? I don't want to say it, but it's the reality. It's a fucking tough shit. I got a lot going on. Got a lot of things that I'm hustling on, that I'm working on. And worst case, let's say that I fall short by 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it may be, which I'm definitely gonna bust my ass to make sure I don't fall short. But let's say I do by any chance. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be so much more ahead by pushing myself to hit that deadline than by not. That is still gonna be a major fucking win. All right, so back to the checklist, right? After I listed everything that I could think of, for the build for both cars, I started to just look at the list and I started to sort things out. Like, I put things in order of how I plan to tackle them. Things that I needed to do to my car while it's still at my house, and all the things that I need to do to the other car while it's still at my friend's house, right? And the list is really the best way to make sure that you account for everything that you have to do, right? Like, I was going over it last night, actually, right? Like, moving some things around. I was like, all right, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. I started adding more things because I started moving things around. You're like, oh wait, I gotta do this too, but wait, I gotta do this one first. And then you start deleting some other things. And it's really like an ever evolving list that, as you start getting things knocked out, no matter how small, it really starts to give you a sense of accomplishment. And what it does is it keeps you focused on the build, because not every, you can't spend every single moment working on it. But when you're not physically working on it, you can go reviewing your list so you make sure you're ready for the next step. That's how you're going to make sure that we hit this fucking deadline. Excuse me. And when you start knocking shit out the list, like I said, it brings you a sense of accomplishment, because progress equals happiness. So what you want to do is you want to prove to your mind that you are making progress. Because the truth is that with so many things that still need to get done, it's really easy to get bogged down on all the shit and just start feeling overwhelmed again. Like, oh my God, I still got this and I got this and I got this and I gotta go over there. And how many times? And this is gonna take long. And chill. Let's prove to our mind that we're making progress, right? Progress equals happiness. Don't forget that. And so want to consistently reinforce to your mind that you're making shit done, that you're getting things done, right? It's all about putting in a little progress every single day. Like, never underestimate. I was just talking about this. Never underestimate what an hour a day can get you when you decide to dedicate yourself to something. Whatever it is. Today we're talking about a build, but whatever it is, if you dedicate an hour a day to this task, to whatever you're doing, every single day, just think about it. At the end of the year, that's 365 hours that you got done. This fucking goes a long way, you know? And so my checklist is a guide for moving forward with finishing this build. Will I make the deadline? Well, I don't know. You're gonna have to stick around and find out. I'll be sure to, to make another episode as I make more progress, right? But for now, I'll just keep plugging away. I'll just keep doing my best to make things happen. I'll just keep doing my best to make sure that I'm staying ahead of what needs to get done so that I can hit this deadline. So I'm gonna ask you an important question. What does your checklist look like? Like, do you know all the things that you need to do in order to finish your build? And what's your game plan for completing those tasks? And by when will you complete your tasks? Go ahead. I want you to send me a direct message and let me know. I'd love to hear about your build too, man. In the meantime, let's get to fucking work. Yo, I'm driving the checkered flag deep into the ground, and I'm calling all the motorsport enthusiasts who want to improve their situation. Let's break free from all the shit that's been holding us back, and let's become the badass motherfuckers that we're all meant to be. Breaking the stereotype is exactly what we're here to do. This movement is called Live Your Life Wide Open, and helping others level up is the mission that God has tasked us with. Join me on this journey while we empower our people to do more and to be more. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and smash that button so you never miss another episode. And if you connected with today's message, if you have a build going on, if you have a buddy that has a build going on, make sure you share this on your story. And tag me at Wide Open Randy, because those are the actions that help more gearheads to see and hear about this podcast. And ultimately, that's how our community grows. I'll catch up with you on the next episode. But till then, live your life wide open, my friend. Peace.